Okay folks, Joekool here. Here you go. Here's all the testing of the two different Venturis, all the different plumbing options, horizontal, vertical, thickness of pipe, you name it, reductions at the ends, and enjoy. It's a lengthy watch, so stay tuned. See you. Okay, here we go. I've got my test rig set up. I've got the jet and the coupling. This is not glued, none of this is glued, and we're going to start right off at the beginning. This is all the 200 pipe, and I'm replicating the ends just as I did in the other videos, just so everything's going to be the same. In this one we're going to test how far the barb is into this, so we can get our Venturi set to the optimal, best optimal place. And then next we'll try using the scheduled 40 pipe to see if that changes anything, and then we'll play with tips. So here we go. Let's get this set in there, turn on the pump, let it spool up because right now it's at takes a second to get the full speed. Okay, so as I didn't mention in the video, I am replicating the length and dimensions of the pipe that is going into the skimmer body of the skimmer that I am reworking. So that's why I'm testing everything out with the length of pipe that I am and the way the fittings are. Right, just so you understand. I'm going to keep pushing it forward. Yeah, okay, so here I'm pushing the jet tip in and out of the opening to adjust how much air it's sucking by its position in the opening that I showed you when we were building the Venturi. Okay, so what I'm finding out is with the short horizontal run, it is working out exactly the same as my previous Venturi, and having the tip of the jet positioned exactly in the middle of the opening of the T. This works the same as in the vertical position, firing down, but I found when I have a longer horizontal run, it does seem to be working a little better. Don't listen to me in the background. Anyways, as I found out, if I run a long, like 2-foot piece of horizontal pipe from the Venturi, it works best when it's in the forward position of the hole. Nothing's changed as far as that's concerned. So as I just said, nothing's changed because it works the same as my previous Venturi. Adjusting it back and forth didn't really seem to do anything with this current setup. Tighter pipes. Give me just a second. So now I'm going to try. Okay, here we are back testing with scheduled 40 now. Still using these small, larger ID pipes for the input. Get the jet. Go ahead and glue that jet where you want it, dude. And let's turn her on. Of course I'm testing, so see what happens here. Playing with all options. Didn't want to glue it until after I found out what the scheduled 40 does. Hey, at least I'm not standing right in front of the tank this time. But give me a minute, I'm sure I'll walk back in front of it. Now this is a 90-gallon aquarium.
Pull it back.
Ooh.
Hello.
See, that's what happens when you're playing with it.
Alright, we came out a couple.
That's why I don't recommend you doing that inside the house. While you're testing it out, use a barrel or something outside. Don't want you to spray any electronics or
Do this one more again.
make your significant other, if you have one, not so happy.
A little more Teflon on here.
Trying to make a tighter fit because the jet's a little loose in there because nothing's glued yet. We're still sliding it back and forth. Trying out the thicker scheduled 40 pipe. Come on, Joe, hurry up.
Alright, continue.
Feel like I should be having some Benny Hill music going on in the background. Okay, so obviously I made the fitting tighter. That's why it stopped and restarted here. Now I'm moving the tip of the jet like up and down inside the T, just playing around with it.
That's about halfway. In the opening where
You'll notice that it's not straight in.
Let's see if we go a little further. Now when it's too far forward, it seems to be getting some backlash of water, so take it back to halfway, all the water goes away.
Yeah, and the shorter horizontal run to the elbow, if you had the tip too far forward, you're getting water pushing back towards the tip, kind of splashing up into the opening of the tip of the T-fitting. So halfway is ideal.
You guys can see the results. I'm standing above it.
Now this is just the beginning, so you'll see as this progresses, the amount of air created
Vertical.
will get much greater. If you guys notice the biohazard box in the background, that's one of my companies that I own, doing biohazard transport and cleaning. Topic for another day.
This is in vertical.
Okay, now we're running the Venturi
At the beginning.
straight down. Not even fully spooled up, and it seems to be doing better already.
Now folks, this is with the scheduled 40 pipe.
Since I already had the scheduled 40 hooked up, I just turned it to a vertical position, but I will be testing it with the larger ID 200 here in a few moments.
Doesn't look as good.
Like I said, if you don't get the jet just right, it definitely affects the
Basically the same as we got out of
amount of
the
air sucking through it.
200 pipe.
Oh, there goes my phone. You're a great video guy here. Maybe you should silence that thing.
Same result we got out of the 200 pipe when it was in the vertical position. Not very good. My phone will stop ringing.
Jeez, dude.
Now we will put on a reducing tip and see if that makes any difference, as it did with the others.
Seems like I might have missed the vertical 200. Must have just did that and I didn't notice it. But anyways.
Let's put this tip on and see what happens.
You really see here that creating some back pressure not only will increase the amount of air bubbles coming through, but it'll also get rid of the, like I call, plumage, the larger bursting bubbles that get forced through there.
Let's do this again.
Which will cause an awful lot of turbulence in your skimmer. So I found that adding the reducing tips on there really makes a huge difference. Now, depending on the height of your skimmer, all this will play into the factor as far as back pressure. So too much reduction might not work out for you, and you might need less. But in the end of the video, you'll see where I tested out in the actual skimmer. Now we're getting the speed.
Okay, so the reducing tip helps. As you can see,
Get the Venturi in the right spot, Joe. Wow, you can really see some air coming through there when you get it in the right spot.
also having this tip in your straight really makes a difference too. That's about halfway in the opening. Increasing it, closing off the opening with the tip of the jet.
I think what's happening in the vertical position is when you have a little bit of back pressure with the reducing tip, it's allowing the jet of water to bombard the air some more and force it in there.
What I found is tilting the fittings so the jet is slightly on an angle down from the opening. Actually, it seems like it's increased the amount of
Nope, just getting it in there straight and in the right position does exactly what you're seeing now.
Like I said, if you wait to glue it and mark it, there we go. Now we're cooking.
These jet style ones can work really good, but you'll see in the end the second Venturi video
I want to try out here.
works out best.
That will be seen if a longer horizontal run.
Yes, the longer horizontal run definitely does some interesting
Can increase the
improvements. But then once again, the tip alignment with the hole in the T will be in a more forward position because you will be getting less back pressure water as in the shorter horizontal run. But most of you want to try and use these under your tank instead of beside it, so you know, this takes up a lot of room. Now, I didn't record every single minute of everything I did. There's a couple hours of stuff just fiddling around playing with that I did because I didn't want to bore you guys out.
Now, I don't know if you can see, but I increased the horizontal run with the Venturi horizontally, going down the vertical run.
I think that's around
to see if that
18 to 24 inches.
We already know that reducing tip is the key. It really helps there. Scheduled 40.
Okay, Joe, it's kind of hard to point stuff out if you're standing in front of the pipes.
But we're still testing it out. I have to review the video to see where we're at with all that.
trying to get the jet tip back out so I can get a better seal on the coupling. You see, I keep wiping my hands on my pants and whatnot. I'm trying to, every time I stick my hands in the water, I'm trying to dry them off so I don't touch the electrical connections on the pump adjuster.
Next test run, long horizontal run from Venturi. As of right now, it's blowing out the hole. Let's see. There it goes. Wait for the pump to kick up. Wow. Tell you what.
I tell you what. Like I said, the tip of the jet for the Venturi has to be all the way forward in this configuration with the longer horizontal pipe. If we get enough of these going, we can have a jacuzzi.
Tried that one out. Unplugger.
I was actually looking at the sticker on this tank, and it said 1994. It was made by All Glass.
Venturi using a piece of tubing in the opening. Alright, so that's basically how I had it set there. And I actually did have this all the way down to just the opening of the T that I showed you guys when we were building it. Let me grab another fitting.
Yep.
That was down, if you can see, let's see, line you up with the camera. The tip is right in the opening. Hard to see with the light, but it's even with this opening right here. That was seemed like it was working the best. Once again, we'll review the videos and see where we ended up. Okay, so I put some Teflon tape around this tube. You can see inside the angle. We're going to give this a shot and see if this method works any better, because this is pretty simple. Once again, the open part of this tube will be going away from you, and the part that's closed off will be where the water hits it. So,
yeah, I guess I skipped something in the beginning here. Probably some downtime that I wasn't recording, where I showed you the making of this. Although I did show you in the Venturi build part 2 how to make this Venturi previous to this video. Now this is in a horizontal run.
here we go. First it might squirt out the tube, but we're going to find out.
It definitely does.
Pump speeding up. Yep, out the tube. Up, now it's creating suction.
Boom. Now I'm really liking this design because it's super simple. Look at all the bubbles it's making when you don't pull the tube out of the back of it and soak everything down. But as you can see,
That seems to be working.
it's working pretty darn good. Less parts to buy, super simple to make.
Y'all tell me if you think that's any better.
Now the question is, does this look like it's producing more air than the previous one with the jet style Venturi? Even if it's exactly equal, then I say less parts the better. Okay. I think what I did here is adjust the depth of the injector tube, raised it or lowered it here. I didn't want the water squirting right back at me, so I had to shut it off real quick. I'd say it works pretty darn good.
Wow. I don't know, good folks. I'm gonna have to compare that to the other videos and see what happens. That looks pretty good.
I think maybe I should just not talk while I'm recording all this stuff and just record over it like I'm doing right now.
Just to reiterate, that was the super simple Venturi design with just a tube, with a slit in it. Bam, simple. You're already going to use this tubing.
That's right.
There's less fittings to use. You don't have to grind down the other fitting, and it works fine. The only issue is a little water came out of here, but I'm sure with enough Teflon tape or some silicone around it, even PVC glue, when you finally get it set.
Yeah, don't use silicone. It doesn't stick to PVC.
I'm going to continue to test this because I'm so happy with it.
But in this case, it might actually work.
And that test was with the long horizontal run. We'll do the short one. Okay.
See, I'm trying to try out every different scenario. We did long horizontal, now we're going to do a short horizontal run. And then we'll do vertical.
Okay, so we're back to the simple Venturi. And we're going to do the short horizontal run, and then we'll try the straight down vertical run to see how this design affects it. Then we can play with the opening or slice of the pipe. Right now it is touching the bottom of this T, and there's probably 3/16 from the top or the slit on a 45-ish angle-ish. Alright, so.
Yeah, I say ish because I, you know, didn't put a angle finder on it.
Now I've left the bottom the same. That way we know that we're getting the same results here.
Captain Obvious here.
And then we'll try it with the 200 pipe.
The 200 is
you gotta watch out for is this tube when it first fires up.
the 200 is the irrigation pipe, the wider ID. Just to recap on that. Okay, so it seems to be working just as well as the long horizontal.
Okay, so it doesn't seem to be changing it much, if at all, with the short horizontal run, which might be perfect. You know, the space is key. Looks like we're getting some real nice air out of there. Okay, now we'll try it in the straight vertical run. Wow. I say vertical is keying, and during startup you don't get any water back through the vent pipe.
Yeah, it does seem like that's
is awesome.
creating a lot of air there. Now we got to look at the.
Now the only other test I'm going to perform is not reducing the 90 down there, and then switching back to the 200 pipe.
Of course, we're going to have to get through all this.
Without shutting it off.
Just doing that to make sure that we cover all the bases and doing the same thing, even though I pretty much realized that sticking with the Schedule 40 is the best format. Yeah, the water's a little cold.
Okay, so what I'm noticing with the non-reduced fitting at the end is I'm getting some big bubbles every once in a while that are kind of pluming, and I don't want that in the skimmer, so back to the reducer. Alright, next we're going to switch back to the wider ID 200 pipe and see how that affects everything.
There's some like Jeopardy music going on right now while we're waiting. Yeah, it's always great when you pour water right down your shoe, down your leg. Okay folks, here we go. Last and final test. The 200 pipe with the wider ID and the same vertical down formation. Waiting for pump to speed up. DC pump. Hard to say if that's any worse or better.
I don't know, folks. I gotta say that looks pretty darn good too.
But
alright, so now I'm going to add this method to a dual setup.
Yeah,
Let's
so
see what happens.
At this point, you might as well stick with the Scheduled 40, adding some rigidity to the pipe.
Okay, folks, this is the final test.
I think I said that already before.
Come to the conclusion
final test for the
that yes, these type of Venturis that I've come up with at the end here are the best. So what I've done is I've made the dual Venturis. I did one side in the Scheduled 40 and the one side in the 200 with the larger ID. We'll compare them side to side and see what they do, and we'll be the judge of it. See what side works better. and see if the performance drops. If the performance isn't that good with duals, with this setup, I'll switch the one side to all schedule 40 to match the other side to get a real comparison, and then we will see if the two meet up with the one as far as output. It may be that with the pump that I have, we might be set. So, let's plug her in and give her a go. As soon as I get my camera stable. Alright guys, here we go.
Already.
Watch them side by side.
Definitely getting some big bubbles there. Obviously the two aren't producing singly the same amount as one was by itself, but I think together it's at least producing the same, not if even more. So this is early on in the dual Venturi setup, but one could say maybe just use one over using two. But we'll see in the end what we can produce here.
80's got a beat. Less plumage.
Seems to be producing a pretty good amount of air. I think at the moment I'm just getting everything lined up so they're both the same. Possibly adjusting the injector depth. You can always tell when I'm adjusting the vinyl tubing injector, because you'll see the air go away because I have my finger over it, so when I twist it around it doesn't squirt water all over me.
One more thing to try. Use the inside.
Right now I'm cutting some 1/2-inch PVC slide into the reducing fittings to see if I can get rid of some of the large bubbles. Trying not to get my shirt soaking wet. Looks like that's definitely helping.
I don't know, folks. Which one reigns supreme? This side or this side? I almost think that the scheduled 40 looks a little better, but it's hard to say. But I think the scheduled 40 is doing a better job, plus it's a little stronger.
I think if I could have a meter on the vinyl tubing to see how much air was being sucked through would really let me know. trying to use your eyeballs isn't exactly an exact science.
Schedule 40 wins. Let's switch it over. Now we're going to switch it over to schedule 40 on both sides. Ladies and gents, we got both sides scheduled 40. Approximately exactly same dimensions on everything. Bottoms look slightly wider on one side, but I don't think that little bit's going to matter for testing.
That was mostly because I didn't just have the PVC shoved together
Here we go.
all the way with my hands, so that's why one side looks a little larger. Now I probably get a little bit more water pressure, but the setup I have right now is kind of at the angle they're at is kind of crimping off the tubes just a tad, especially once I have it mounted to the skimmer in the final test. So the air is reduced just a tad, but with the back pressure, this is pretty much the design I went with. Still some big bubbles in there, some plumage, but really, there you go, see the water squirting out. That's me adjusting the depth of the vinyl tubing. Doing the other side. You know, standing in the way is really helping.
Now I just need to figure out how to get rid of the big plume bubbles.
Obviously, I'm going to play with different fittings on the ends, but ultimately it'll matter about, in the long run, how much pressure you have. Back pressure by the water amount in the skimmer. Oh, nice. Like I said, I don't have everything glued together, so kind of coming apart here.
few more things.
Okay, folks, so here we go. Testing everything out in the
Kind of
skimmer.
water going through there. Nothing's glued, it's just all kind of
I had to increase the height of the Venturis in dual mode just because the back pressure was affecting and causing water to come out of the final tube.
Now, but it's cute trying to make foam out of clean water.
Hear all the air being sucked into the Venturis. Now it might improve just slightly because once I hard plumbed the split at the top, the tubing that's up there now is flexible and it's kinked a little bit, so it's probably decreasing the amount of water pressure. But as you can see, there is a tiny bit of water moving through the skimmer.
Okay, so this is a DCT 15,000.
If you can hear me, that was a DCT Joekoolreefvid
I got a little leak in there.
15,000.
Because you know, nothing's glued. Just have this stuff thrown together. But this is testing outside, so no worries.